The market is looking very interesting today, and honestly, this is the kind of price action I enjoy breaking down. In this video, I'm going to show you what Bitcoin is actually doing across multiple timeframes, where the structure has already shifted, and which levels matter next. We will also go through Ethereum, where there is a clear trade idea that's actually forming that I'm planning to share with you, but only if the market confirms it. Nothing is forced today, but the levels we're sitting at can lead to very aggressive moves. So make sure you watch this one carefully. This is Bitcoin on Point, where I walk you through the market exactly as I'm seeing it and exactly how I'm planning around it. Now, Bitcoin has done something very sneaky. It trapped buyers at the highs and then broke the structure. And right now it's sitting at a point where the next move could be very aggressive, and that's in either direction. Now, at the same time, Ethereum is doing exactly what we mapped out earlier. And that's why my main focus right now is let me show you everything step by step. Now, a quick reminder before we go deeper, I'm publicly running a $10,000 to $100,000 trading challenge. There's no hidden trades, no hindsight calls. Every execution, every idea, every update is shared live in my free Telegram. YouTube is for structure, but Telegram is where the real-time decisions actually happen. So before we go further, smash that like button. Let's target 20 likes on this video, and please subscribe. It helps more than you think, and it tells me you want more of these real-time market breakdowns. So before we dive into the chart, so let's talk about what's happening in the background. The macro context is just as important. Now, the SEC just gave a preview of how tokenized equities could be issued and traded on-chain with regulatory support. This is massive, and it's not based on the price of assets today. It's because it shows regulators are starting to understand that innovation matters for US competitiveness. Now, at the same time, Tom Lee and Bitmine have $6.63 billion worth of Ethereum stake. That isn't retail behavior. That's long-term conviction and capital commitment. And on the global side, KuCoin has officially launched its European platform, and it has the message of bringing crypto into real life. So again, this macro doesn't tell us where price goes today, but it does tell us that infrastructure is being built and capital is positioning. So that's why I'm still letting the charts lead, not the headlines. Now let's begin with the technicals. Starting with Bitcoin on the daily, we can clearly see that Bitcoin had formed an ascending triangle. Now this is technically a bullish reversal pattern, but what happened is price pushed up, it broke above the trend line, signaling a breakout, but that move faked a lot of buyers into thinking continuation was coming, right? But almost immediately after that fake breakout, price dropped sharply, and not just back into the triangle, but actually below the lower trend line as well. And it's important because Bitcoin didn't just wick below the trend line, it actually closed below it. So that alone already signals some weakness. Now, after that breakdown, price did retrace back up with an indecision candle, but tapping back into the trendline area, it then broke down again from the recent low/origin of the original retracement. So this sequence confirms a bearish structure at the moment on the daily. Now, if you look at the black horizontal level below, price did break beneath that level, came slightly above it, and now it looks like it's rolling back down again. So at this point, there are two clear scenarios. If Bitcoin manages to close above 90.2k, that would signal a potential bullish reversal. But if price continues lower and starts targeting 75k, then the structure actually supports that move, this breakdown from the ascending triangle pattern originally, right? So in that bearish scenario, I would only look for entries on a retracement, specifically when the price actually breaks lower, comes back to retest the black trend line, and then shows rejection again. So it's confirming support, previous support as resistance, right? That's the opportunity. So there's no chasing here. It's just waiting on reactions. Now let's drop into the Bitcoin 4-hour, because yesterday I showed you this chart and mentioned that Bitcoin was at 88.7k and that I wanted to see the price move higher first towards 90.2k and then come back into support. And that's played out almost perfectly. Price did push up, retraced to that area, and has now returned to the 88k support zone, right where we was targeting. So right now, Bitcoin is sitting directly on that support. And from here, if bearish momentum continues, a break below 88k opens the door towards 86k, right? But if this support holds, then after a clean close above 89.7k roughly, upside liquidity sits at 91.2 and 92k. So this time frame is not about the predicting side of things. It's about watching how the price reacts at support. Now let's zoom in even closer. On the Bitcoin 2 hour, the structure becomes very clear. The 91K area has created a bearish order block. And this is where price has already been rejected twice from that significant zone. And we also saw a very clean breakdown around 89.5K, which was previously a consolidation area. And once price broke below that level, it confirmed the weakness on the lower time frame. Now, below current prices, we can see drawn liquidity sitting roughly at 86K. And that's given two rejections from the bearish OB and the strong bearish break, from 89.4K. So it makes sense structurally that price could come down and take the liquidity at that low. And that's what I'm watching on the 2 hour. So a quick update on our trading challenge. Right now, I'm still being very selective. There's no forced trades, no emotional entries, and no overtrading just for the sake of action, right? The whole point of this challenge is to trade only when the structure is clear and that the risk to reward ratio does actually make sense. So as soon as I take a trade, or if I decide to stay completely flat, whichever, you'll see the update live in the Telegram. So make sure you go and check it out. Now let's talk about Ethereum, because this is where the trade idea actually exists. Yesterday, I mentioned that Ethereum broke above the trend line, which was great, but I wanted to see price move exactly in the path that I drew out. And that's what we're seeing. Ethereum did push up, but instead of actually continuing higher, it's now coming back below the key level at 2.9K and right into our entry zone, in fact. So it's very important here. This is a trade idea, not a guaranteed trade yet. And I'm not blindly buying just because price has touched this entry point, right? The process is always this. One, we identify a trade idea on the higher time frames, i.e. the daily. Two, we wait for the structural confirmation. And then three, only then we execute. So right now, the idea is valid, yes, but confirmation is still needed. So if price gives me the right structure on the lower time frames, I'll take it. If not, I simply don't. And all updates, guys, remember, are shared live in my Telegram. You're missing out if you're not heading over there. Now, on the 4 hour chart, price is moving back into the order block around 2.9K. This is exactly what I wanted to see. Earlier, I did mention a change of character, but I also said I did not want to see it just yet. So first, I wanted price to come back into the order block, absorb the liquidity, and then show the structure. And that's what's happening now. So from here, my conditions are pretty clear. Price enters the order block, it forms a bullish structure, breaks and closes above $3,050. After that, I'll drop down into a lower time frame, use Fibonacci, wait for a retracement to the 0.618, roughly 60% level, and only then look for a long. So until that happens, I simply wait. So overall, Bitcoin has broken daily structure and is reacting at support. Ethereum has a planned trade idea, but it still needs the confirmation. Nothing is being forced. Everything depends on the structure, and this is how you stay patient and stay consistent. We're here every day. If this breakdown helped you, don't forget to like the video. It really supports the channel. Share it with a trader friend who actually looks at structure and not just headlines. Make sure you're subscribed and drop a comment below. Tell me what you think happens next. If you want to see how I handle this market in real time, you can also join my free Telegram, and that's where I share all of my live updates and executions. So honestly, you're missing out because that's where all the magic happens. Now, everything I used is in the video link description. I appreciate you being here. Stay patient, and I'll see you in the next update.